Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another old Drop Frames. Oh, is that me or you, Cohh? I didn't.
It's me.
Oh,
It's me. Aha!
There you go.
There we go.
Fixed.
Okay.
Mostly. Oh, now.
Mostly.
Yeah, you adjusted in your chair and it messed up. It's fine. It's gonna bother me all show. Fix it right now, Cohh. Fucking fix it. Great.
There you go.
Audio viewers confused as always. That's just how it goes on this show. Cohh, why don't you talk about why this is going to be your last Drop Frames for a while, and I'll make sure I get that tweet out letting everyone know that we're live. Let's start the show that way.
Sounds good. So, as you guys know, as many of you know, I am having my third son soon, in just potentially next week. Like after the 10th, basically he can be here at any moment. And at the end of next week, if he's not here before then, he is going to be here. So on that note, I'm probably going to take at least a month off as I kind of recalibrate my life to getting everything, well, ready for that. Not only are all of my things going to change, but most importantly, at any point for any reason, I can be drawn away for an indeterminate amount of time. That being said, I'm pretty much getting almost all of my requirements, my responsibilities that require me to be there like a certain time. I'm kind of like putting all of those on pause as I kind of figure out what my life's going to look like after my third kid's going to be here. So I'll be taking at least a month off Drop Frames, maybe longer, depending on how things are going. And I believe JP is going to have a either better Cohh or better person filling in while I'm gone. So
yeah,
there's
the show
no
will
such
go on.
thing, Cohh. There is no better person than you.
No.
We've got a handful of people that have signed up to be on. But yeah, we'll just kind of keep the chair open in a sense. I'll check in with you probably somewhere at the beginning of October, and we'll figure out what makes the most sense in terms of the time for you to come back. But yeah,
I do have a quick question though. Isn't that why you had the two previous kids to watch like every successive
Third
kid
kid?
after that?
They're not quite old enough yet. That is the plan. And eventually it will just be like a thing. But primarily the main reason I'm having three kids is because I feel like that would provide a trinity. So when I have them farm items for me, they can be like, healer, DPS, tank.
Oh,
smart.
I didn't. Yeah. So
Yep,
I felt like that was more important. Also, real quick, let me just
Smart.
bite this off at the bud here. There will be many Wednesdays where I will be streaming during Drop Frames. I just may have to jump out at any point. So that's the whole reason. When people inevitably come in, oh, why are you streaming and not on Drop Frames? Well, because at any minute I might just get up and leave and not come back that day.
Right.
So yeah. So that's how
he's
that's
being
going to be.
considerate to this show, because if he was doing this show and had to leave, we would berate him like terribly.
Endlessly.
It would be awful. We would say the worst things about him if he left in the
Also,
middle of the show.
true.
So.
I don't want to put the show in the situation where it's like, hey, here for a 3-hour show. And then 5 minutes later, I'm like, okay, got to go, bye. And then it's just like, well, there goes that week. Especially since you all are showing up for it. So we're just playing it safe.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll probably see some familiar faces and maybe some not so familiar faces. We've only locked in a handful of guests, but we'll kind of get that situated and let you guys know on where we're headed with that. So,
And I don't know if you've been reading my Twitter lately, Cohh. It's gotten a lot of likes, a lot of retweets. Maybe you should check it out.
Oh,
and it's your third kid.
I already am. Yes, that is.
Maybe
no, that was my face.
Yeah.
That was weird.
That's already part of the plans there. Yeah. So. Oh yeah.
Well, dude, more like, hey, congratulations on your third kid. And I wanted to do the Godfather quote, like, I hope that your child is a masculine child, but that's so outdated.
It's 2021, Zeke.
It's a healthy child. How about just a healthy child?
Yeah,
There we go.
Healthy. Yeah. You wish for healthy.
Nice.
That's true. That's exactly. Yes. There you go. Anyways, what's been going on? News is a little bit light this past week. Just a bunch of people deciding to cancel themselves on Twitter, and some other little tidbits. I think tomorrow will probably be some of the biggest news potentially coming out of the gaming world in a little while with that PlayStation Showcase that they have announced.
Have they announced anything that's going to be
No,
there?
and that's what I was tweeting about the other day. Like, they haven't said anything that's going to be there yet. People are obviously a little stir crazy for a new God of War thing to be shown.
Wow.
So if that's there, great. I'm super into that. I will gladly watch anything on the next God of War. I think they've said that it's 40 minutes long. So that's not super long in terms of how many games you're going to show, unless it's literally just like 3 minutes of an announcement trailer or something like that, and then move on to the next game. I don't know. We'll see. Probably we'll see something from like Gran Turismo if they're showing, what's coming up in the future. Potentially maybe God of War, maybe some more Horizon stuff. They got into a little bit of hot water this past week with Horizon because of a $10 upgrade from the PS4 to PS5 version instead of it being free like all their other multi-gen games. And then I think on Saturday, they basically said that, hey, you guys were right. We're wrong. We'll give you this one for free.
We did say that. Our bad.
Yeah. We'll give you this one for free, but this is it. This is the last one. From now on, any game in the future will cost $10. And I think they also said that all PS5 games are going to be $69.99 moving forward.
It was basically a new world situation.
Yeah.
Where they tried to do something, and then everyone was like, no, you're not. And they were like, oh, okay, you got us. We won't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did they like promise that and then broke their word, or did they not? Was it just underhanded?
It was like a soft
They said
promise.
they weren't going to do it. Yeah. It was
Okay.
not like an official thing, but they definitely hinted that would be the case. And then they just kind of tried to slide it in there that, oh no, we're going to charge you. And the community was like, oh no, you aren't.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, I guess we aren't then.
Yeah. Twitter definitely went stir crazy. Did you guys see the Sonic drama that happened over the weekend? That was a very funny one. So there's a new Sonic game out, I think, for Switch, or it was a remaster of an old Sonic game or something like that. And someone posted footage about how it was buggy and showed a lot of issues with it. And Twitter went crazy, right? In the span of a 12 or 15 hour period. People were canceling pre-orders. Nintendo was issuing refunds from all this shit. Then it comes out that the guy that posted this video said that it was an emulator, and that's why it was messing up for the footage that he captured. And so everyone was canceling the fucking game, canceling pre-orders and all this shit because this guy took video footage from an emulator. Now, if I'm Nintendo's lawyers, I'd be doing a little bit of this and getting ready to go to Sioux Town.
Just a big name that did this?
No, I don't. I think it was just kind of I don't know if it was a big name. I didn't recognize the name. I think it was just kind of a random Sonic fan that it picked up traction because I think a lot of people saw that and were like, oh man, another bugged Sonic game.
How is it that one guy had access and no one else seemed to?
It was a remaster, or it is a remaster of an old Sonic game. So I think he was running the old code, an old version of the game on an emulator is essentially what I gather.
Oh.
So
Okay.
yeah, not the best. Not the best. There's got to be careful, I guess, is ultimately the tale to take from that. Yeah. That one was
I'm assuming it would be if I took a beloved game or whatever, like a cult classic or something, just say Legacy of Kain, for example, and I ran it through an emulator with graphical updates and said hey guys, teased it out this is they're remaking it and this is it, and showed people. That would be kind of what happened here, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Ultimately,
ouch.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I'm scanning through the gaming leaks and rumors subreddit to see if anything has been leaked for tomorrow, and still nothing at all. So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Watch them just have nothing. It's gonna be. It's just gonna be nothing.
Well,
just 40 minutes of
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
the
man.
reason that I think a lot of people are considering this to be a bigger deal than normal is it's not a state of play. It's a showcase. They have come out and said it is a PlayStation showcase, and that they're showing games for the PS5 for later this year and early into 2022. So I don't know.
So,
Okay.
so they're I know this is terrible of me to say, but so they're showing games for the PS5, a system that is like super difficult for people to get.
Correct.
So it's just like making people who want the games and want the system just even more like, you know, just like fucking white knuckling at home. Just like, I want to play, but I can't.
Correct. Yes. In their
Great.
like little video too, the PlayStation buttons are like diamond encrusted as well, or at least here at the end. Here's their little, I guess, intro video or teaser video that they put it out for it, but there's no games or anything. I don't understand this situation. Like, why is that diamond encrusted? Are they going to have like a limited edition on an already limited version console that it's hard to find? It's just weird. It's a weird thing.
It's probably for Jack Black's new glam rock PS5 exclusive game. That obviously, I think that's what it is.
I think so.
If you, yeah, probably, obviously.
Yeah.
I'd play it.
In the blog, it says the showcase will weigh in about 40 minutes and includes updates from PlayStation Studios and some of the industry's most imaginative developers for games releasing this holiday and beyond. And stick around after the presentation to get more updates from some of the studio teams featured in the showcase. So, 40 minutes of something, and then I guess some gameplay of whatever games they're showing there.
Okay, ready? Do you want the leak?
Is this
You want it?
It depends. Which leak are you looking at? Because I've seen a handful of leaks and they're fake as
21
fuck.
hour ago. Oh yeah, the play of show, like the one that goes every 3 minutes.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, you could if you want to link it, I could show it on stream
Fully,
as well.
Fully rumor.
Yeah.
Let's see. World premiere trailer, Horizon Forbidden West gameplay, another world premiere trailer, Gran Turismo 7 trailer.
Right.
Another Abandoned Hassan Kurama. I don't know what I think a lot of this stuff is in Japanese, but not the English titles. I'm not sure. PS Plus update, Blue Point plus PlayStation Studios, God of War Ragnarok reveal trailer for the closer. That's pretty big. But yeah, it looks like a bunch of trailers, a lot of stuff we've heard, maybe a couple new things.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if they do 40 minutes and they just show God of War, it doesn't matter what the other 38 minutes, 37 minutes are, right? Like everyone will, myself included, will lose our collective shit at a new God of War running on PS5. Yeah. That game's already drop dead gorgeous. I don't know what a next gen version of that game looks like.
Well, if the updated version of Ghost of Tsushima, I mean, I've seen some like people doing screenshots and stuff. If that's anything to go off of, like God of War, like I would love to see like, you know, Jormungandr, the World Snake, like in, you know, PS5 graphic.
Totally. Yeah. I booted up God of War with the like 4K 60 patch, excuse me, for the PS5 this past week on my my new monitor / TV, and I was just like, yep, this game still looks drop dead gorgeous. Like this could pass as a PS5 game. They could put this out as is, and I would be perfectly okay with it. So who knows what like next gen of that looks like.
So I'm just sitting here thinking like, what is a pie in the sky, like dream big kind of thing I would love to see? And usually I'm all about like new IPs and stuff, but you know, if they gave the entire Souls and Bloodborne like thing at the PS5 update, like something of that nature would be fucking amazing. I think I would love to see that shit.
If Bloodborne just got a PS5 patch, not even like a remaster, but just I think people would flip the fuck out with that.
Yes,
that's been
they could resell the game with that, like for full price.
Oh yeah, without question.
I'd be just printing money.
There's always the like what's coming to PC out of PlayStation Studios, and that's been talked about for a while. Bloodborne being some sort of PS or PC release. I think there's.
Oh yeah, I would take that. I would take that too. I would take that over the other thing.
Yeah, I think Uncharted coming to PC, the Uncharted trilogy potentially coming to PC was another rumor. None of this stuff had any actual ground or grounded in reality. that I saw. But yeah, they'll probably have something coming to PC. I think that that's a new market that they are going to continue to explore with how successful. I think like Days Gone did extremely well when that came to PC, and got an entire new audience for that game, and just for PlayStation games in general. So we will see.
Wasn't
what
Horizon
comes out of
the same kind of thing?
Totally.
Well,
Yeah.
Horizon was okay.
Yeah, it had some issues at launch on PC, but I think they smoothed all that stuff out with some patches over the past couple of however long that's been out, and now it runs fine, and performs fine. So we will see. Yeah, maybe some Final Fantasy 16 stuff tomorrow as well. But we'll see, because there's Tokyo Game Show at the end of September, so Square might hold that for then. Or it might be like a small teaser and Square gets like the big teaser for whatever they're doing at Tokyo Game Show. I don't know. PlayStation has always gotten the big, or at least recently, has gotten the big like Square announcements when it comes to their games. So we'll see how it goes with that. But that's tomorrow at, what is that? 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and 9 p.m. bullshit time zone. Only my
35-minute Deathloop gameplay trailer. Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, that game comes out next week. Are you playing that, Cohh? That game's,
hell yeah.
That game's it's a weird marketing for that game from every side, because it's an Xbox developed game for PlayStation and PC.
I missed the title. What game?
Deathloop.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems really cool. I love Arcane.
Right.
And
right.
I have loved everything Arcane has made since, Arx Fatalis back in the day. And the fact that this is really it looks like it's doing something really interesting and unique. It's basically a puzzle FPS where like the how fast the game moves is you learning the situation and everything. And also like the PvP elements seem cool. Like, I mean, there's a lot of very interesting stuff in that game. So I can't wait to try it.
Yeah. I know that I think reviewers already have code for that, because I saw a handful of people said that they had finished it already on Twitter yesterday. So sounds like that stuff is out there
a little bit.
Yeah, that embargo probably early next week, I would reckon. We were talking about God of War. I'll drop this sad bit of news in this portion of the show. The developer behind a lot of the Leviathan Axe gameplay from God of War passed away. When was this? I think sometime last week. He was involved with a lot more in God of War. Kratos' weaponry, navigation, RPG systems, a myriad of combat behaviors, improvements to the scripting system to empower designers, and so much more. He went by the nickname FuriousGeorge. His full name was George either Maul or Malay. I'm not sure how to fully pronounce that, but unfortunate for sure that they announced his passing away. And I don't know what the cause of death, at least in the information that I'm looking at, they don't say. So you can dig for that for yourself if you're so inclined. In terms of other news, like I said, not too much going on. Apparently the Stardew Valley creator, ConcernedApe, is focused on his next game and does not know if there will be another update for Stardew Valley. Cohh, I think you're probably the most inclined to kind of follow anything that ConcernedApe is doing. Do we know anything about his next game, or is that just completely tight-lipped?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if he's going to try to like just capitalize on what he's done, or if he's going to try something new. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he's coming up with. The last update to Stardew Valley, especially, was really impressive. So yeah, it'll be cool. And now he's got a lot more resources, so it's going to be interesting to see where he goes with it.
God, yeah, he has a lot more. a lot more. What he sold, like what, 15 million copies or something of Stardew?
Yep.
Like some absurd number. Yeah. And he's not necessarily, I mean, he was the sole dev. I think his team he's expanded it to a handful more people, but still. Yeah, we'll see what comes from that. Could be very exciting.
Do you think he sticks with like a similar format, or he breaks and does like something completely else?
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Like, is he going to do another like pixel arty game with that exact style, or is he going to do something completely new? Maybe he's going to do a little action game this time. Maybe just a Stardew Valley 2 style game. Like, we're gonna have to see.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. What has he done prior to Stardew Valley, Cohh? Do you know much about like his game history? Yeah. I don't know what he has done in the past in terms of outside of Stardew Valley. So we will see. We'll see. Kind of a weird bit of news, but I think it's worth celebrating because we've celebrated their success in the past in the same way. After 5 years, Hello Games No Man's Sky has reached mostly positive on Steam.
On time.
Yeah, took 5 years for that. I believe it started out as like incredible. What was it? Mostly negative or incredibly negative? What was the
incredible?
It was real bad.
It was very negative. Was what the Steam tag is. Very negative. Yeah,
that was incredibly negative.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
and that title was deserved when it came out.
Totally. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Mostly positive means for those that aren't on the Steam, Steam user base. It means that 70% or more of the reviews are in favor of the game. So yeah, I was watching. Who was I watching? Oh, Sips. I was watching Sips play it today. They're doing. Are they doing drops or something soon? Have you guys heard? I think there's a
I
drop
have heard about that
system. Yeah, he was kind of mentioning it. I don't know if that's embargoed or what, but I've seen a handful of No Man's Sky folks talk about drops. So that game's probably going to be pretty big on Twitch.
For it.
Oh yeah, there he goes. Barry in all caps drops tomorrow for No Man's Sky. And then the third expedition has started as well.
Well, cool. I was looking at the reviews on Steam. In the last 30 days, 92% of the 4,300 reviews are positive. So hey, you're really turning that ship around.
It could have been Sips's gameplay that was turning me onto it, but it looks like it's a lot of fun. It looks like there's an actual goal in a lot of ways when you get into the game. Like he was building a full-on base.
Yeah, you can actually take over a whole little town now.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of stuff. Added
tons of new building things as well. I mean, it just looks really cool.
It does. Yeah, I was
really cool.
Was thinking about downloading and playing it off stream just to fuck around. It looks like a good time. Definitely a fun with friends situation as well, from what I could gather. So, yesterday we got a Alan Wake Remastered announcement. I think this was rumored for quite some time. It came via an open letter from Sam Lake, the game's creator. It will be coming out on PC, Xbox, and for the first time ever, PlayStation. And it will also be on Epic Games Store, as it's a partnership with them. But
it's going to be a really fun game to play muted, like the entire time.
Yeah,
I know, right?
That's the big thing, Lord. At least in the streaming world, is like that game's pretty hard to stream. There's a lot of copyrighted songs in that.
We tried to put it on YouTube. YouTube said no.
Yeah, and that was years ago, before Twitch was really cracking down on that, or before other people were cracking down on Twitch for that type of stuff. And I don't even know, and this is a question for you guys, more so than me, because I have a hard time remembering that game since it came out for so long ago. The music used in the game is like kind of imperative to fit the mood of the game. Like if they take that music out, it's not going to necessarily have the same effect, right?
It's really good.
Yeah,
like the music in the game is very well picked, and it works really well with the game. So it you can still, of course, play it without the music, but it definitely caters to music.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's what I remember as well. But it's cool that outside of the streaming world, it's cool that more people are going to be playing Alan Wake. That game is really something special. Cohh went with the cool color scheme.
He did, yes, a little bit.
Yeah, a little blue. What else do we got? I've not read this story, but Toshiba has apparently been out there saying that PS5 and Xbox Series X component shortages may last until 2023 in a story on Games Radar. So it looks like it's going to be still impossible to find these consoles all the way until 2023. Does it give the exact quote?
Cool.
The director of the company confirmed to Bloomberg that, quote, the supply of chips will remain very tight until at least September next year. So there you go. It's going to be impossible to get one still. We consider which customer faces the most severe situation, such as the risk of the whole production, like halting the business or getting obliterated without the supply of chips. Game console makers are among the customers making the strongest demands, and I'm sincerely sorry for their frustration, as none of them have 100% satisfaction. So,
is there is there a solution to this? Like, is there any like salvageability? Like, can they say like, hey, so we're running low on this material we need to make the chips. Like, if you turn in your old, like, I don't know, PS3s, PS4s, stuff like that, like, we'll give you, blank amount of money, and we'll just, cannibalize and take the material we need. Is that like, is it just a brand new material for this console, or have they used it in the past?
I don't know material wise if it is like, quote, brand new. I just know
that's
that
not
it's
the
rare.
issue. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it's the production of it, right? Like the production got so halted because the world kind of shut down or in a lot of places is still kind of shut down.
That and shipping.
Yeah, and then the shipping of it, the whole production process, right? From like fabrication.
The demand skyrocketed because everyone was home.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, that.
Well, now I know. I didn't know that.
That's another interesting like aspect of all of this is I think like the number of PS5 sold is pretty comparable to the number of PS4 sold, I think, in the same time span or something like that.
Pardon me for 1 second. I hear screaming downstairs. I'm gonna go.
You should probably go check in on that. Yeah. So I think it's just like the demand is crazy, right? People are stuck at home. They want something to do, and consoles are, a thing to do. So that's where people are headed towards. Let me scroll through this a little bit more.
Now, is it the same thing that's holding up like production of, or people getting their hands on like a 3080, 3090? It's the same.
I think so. Deal? Yeah. Same thing with cars as well. It's all kind of the precious metal world, and microchip world. That's all, stems from the same place in that regard.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The silicon chips.
Like my very like cursory like skimming of like tweets and whatever, I just gleaned like, oh, they don't have enough material to make this stuff. I didn't look deeper and realize like, no, it's production. Like, they're behind because of, the world falling into a fucking pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. It's did a lot of bad. Turns out pandemics are not good. For production and maybe just in general. Yeah.
Maybe just in general.
Maybe I'm getting confirmation. Big if true, pandemics are bad. It's kind of it's what the people say there. But you got to do your own research here, Zeke. You got to do your own research these days. So
yeah. But hey, I asked the questions for people like me. Like I wasn't espousing like I knew. That's why I asked the question, because I didn't know. And that's often the case where I will think one thing, assume that's correct, never ask until way, way down the line when it's completely like everybody's like slapping their foreheads going like, what? Are you such an idiot? And that's when I asked the question.
There you go. It's important. If you want to grab a free copy of Far Cry 3, you can do so by just registering over on old Ubisoft.com. You can grab it from now till September 10th, Friday. Far Cry 3, probably arguably best villain in Far Cry. That's when they started kind of having good villains, or a major focal point of their villains in Far Cry with Voss. Yeah, I think it's worth, if you haven't played that, it's probably worth playing for the price of free. To just go and create an account on Ubisoft. It's not bad.
I've still I've played Far Cry 3 and 4. And wait, what was it? The one that's coming out is it 6 or 5?
6.
6. Okay, so I played a little bit of 3, 4, and 5, but always it's just, I feel like I should go back because it's always just fucking around. It's seriously just like everything in Far Cry for me has just been like, let's see how we die. Let's see how the creative ways we can blow shit up. Like I used to play Grand Theft Auto, same thing.
I mean, that's what those games are designed for, right? Like that's an open world game in a nutshell, in my eyes. Yeah. What else do we got here? Garry's Mod has officially hit 20 million sales. The game has been out for 16 years. Sold 20 million units. That is congratulations to Garry. Good job.
I've still never played that. I don't even know what it is really. It's like everything, isn't it? Isn't it like a playground? Like, isn't it like similar? Like, okay, this is another one of those things. Like, slap your forehead, get your forehead slapping shit ready. Isn't it kind of like Roblox where you can just like do a bunch of shit in the game?
Sure. Yeah. Garry's Mod, like if you're playing actual Garry's Mod, then yes, it's more of a like sandbox for fucking around. But a lot of there's a lot of mods within Garry's Mod, or a lot of games within Garry's Mod that people have made. One of the more popular ones being it kind of spawned an entire subset or a subgenre that I'm blanking on now. But essentially, like you hide in a material and then someone prop hunt. There you go. Thank you, chat. It's a prop hunt series. One of our friends of the show, Gassy Mexican, it's his favorite type of game, actually. And you've seen a handful of like spinoffs trying to emulate that, but there's a lot of stuff that uses Garry's Mod. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else might be kind of the last little bit of news here? I'll keep scrolling, see if there's anything.
What was the screaming, Cohh?
Kids.
Okay.
One kid chasing the other kid. Yeah. Yeah. You know,
yeah.
normal.
Soon you're going to have two kids chasing one kid, or one kid chasing one kid who's being chased by another kid who's being chased by a horse. Maybe. You got maybe. You never know. Who knows?
You never know. You never know.
Yeah, maybe they pissed off that horse. You know,
could have been.
Maybe it's a chicken. You have chickens, right?
Yeah, chicken. We just got turkeys.
What? Now, do all these animals wake you up?
Got 6 little turkeys. Oh no.
They don't like get loud as shit in the morning.
They're out in the barn. Yeah.
What is that, like 10 acres away? When you say they're out in the barn, what are we talking here distance wise? Because I feel like that shit would wake me up.
Well, first, if I'm going to go to the barn, first I get in the elevator and I take that down to the bottom floor from the 5th. And then I get in my gold-plated golf cart. I then take that over the moat through the golf course and around the Frisbee golf course. Of course.
Frisbee.
And then I take that through the Enchanted Woods. And once I'm through there, I get to the outskirts of the barn, the 55-acre barn structure. Of course, I have to check in with Pablo at the gate, but it's a little bit away.
Okay. All right.
And I was wrong again. So I have to apologize to my chat. I said he was late because he was picking up his gold toilet. It was a golden golf cart. My bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes I just take the helicopter if I need to get there quickly.
Helicopters are scary. I mean, good on you for keeping the helicopter business in business. But that's scary work. Scary stuff.
It's not nearly as scary when you actually, like, I get in a helicopter, but it's just carried by 2 other helicopters, and that way there's a backup.
You got like a Chinook. Is it a Chinook?
Chinook. It's a Chinook, and 3 of them, yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense for sure.
Well, I'll tell you this, Cohh. Being the oldest of 3 boys in my family, 4 technically. Once the youngest is old enough to start antagonizing the next one up, the oldest one, like, he checks out. Like, I checked out. Like, I was like, oh, good. I don't need to do shit. So, like, it's not like all 3 of them will be screaming and playing together. It just moves down the line.
Excellent. It all flows downhill. Yes.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
That makes sense.
Yeah. No, real talk. Thankfully, the barn is not next to the house. It is at least a little bit, and also they don't make too much noise. So, yeah, it's not too bad. They're babies though. They're like little tiny baby turkeys. So, yeah, we haven't had to deal with it too much. We have been warned about them getting louder though.
Here's my my. You would think growing up in Texas I would have better farm animal knowledge, but I don't. Is a chicken make more noise than a turkey?
No, a turkey makes more noise than a chicken. Unless it is, of course, a male chicken, a rooster.
Yeah, a rooster.
In which case, a rooster. You generally only have one rooster because they get very protective of their flock.
Okay.
And they will frequently make a lot of noise because they're making sure all the chickens know where they are. So they make a lot of noise. Turkeys, however, both male and female, do make a good amount of noise.
Yeah.
So they just constantly call to each other. So yeah.
Got it. There you go. That's your barnyard information for the week. You touch grass. You can tell everyone, chat, you touched grass. That way you could stay inside and keep playing video games.
Gobble, gobble.
Yep. Gobble, gobble.
Are you raising them to eat them?
Whoa, the real questions.
We're actually raising them because we have a small flock of chickens, which we really like. They give us eggs, all sorts of stuff. The kids love them.
Sure.
But the problem is in the new area where there's not a huge amount of trees, and that means there's not a huge amount of cover. So we had the chickens out for a little bit, and in one day we lost 2 chickens to hawks.
Jesus.
One day. Yeah, they hawks, if they find a lucrative opportunity, they will take it. And some hawks really just a big bag of dicks. You know what some hawks eat? They eat chicken necks.
They just take the neck and go.
That's it. They just come down, they eat the chicken's neck, and they just leave. And they're just like, that's what I eat. I don't want anything else. I'm fine. I'm full. Yeah, I mean, talk about a dick move. So anyway, the turkeys are much larger when they're older. And hawks will see them and a lot of times be like, this isn't worth the risk to me. I will go look somewhere else. So the turkeys are going to kind of be also with Booker out of commission, who also helps with that sometimes because you heard his knee a while back, had to get some operations and stuff. The turkeys are there to oversee the
Sure.
Hopefully it'll work. We're also trying to befriend crows because if crows nest in your area, they actually chase away hawks because hawks will eat crow eggs. So crows will band together in little parties and they will go after hawks. Dude, it's crazy. It's really cool.
You gotta do a IRL stream of all this shit one day. Do like a tour. Like those are our crows. That's Jerry and Larry up there. Terry's over on the other tree. They're looking for hawks. Yeah.
Well, what's super cool is we're actually also clearing out some land, and they put all the for pastures later because this place didn't have a lot of pastures right now.
Yeah.
And we have horses. I got Roach out there. He needs his grass. And what they did was they collected everything into like a multi-story high giant pile, and then just set it on fire. And it was awesome. Like you could literally drive around it, and like it was nuts. It was like post-apocalyptic levels of just like I've never seen a larger burning structure.
Did you get out your Fallout gear? Your Fallout
I almost just
walked.
Yeah. Well, it was wild because I thought it was like I thought there were bugs in the air because we're out there. Dude, there was ash everywhere. Like, everywhere there was ash. Like it was crazy. Very very strange. Yeah, very strange.
Got IRL.
Hey man, I don't want to tell you but you should come out to the burn, man. Like if you like burning things that are like really big, like they burn whole buildings, man. Like they build like 10-story high like dudes, and they just like light them on fire.
Yeah. The thing, Zeke, is if he does that, then you'll be cursed with the secret that Cohh doesn't actually have a farm at all. He just thinks all of this stuff is real, right? But
oh my god,
to all of us, we know that the farm's real, right? We know that it's a real thing.
I actually live in an apartment in New York.
Hilarious if someone actually like if I went over to visit Cohh and I was like, wait a minute, you live in an apartment. That's not your wife, that's a nurse. Wait a minute, you're in a hospital, dude. Like,
I hold up a stuffed animal and I'm like, hey, hello to Rowan.
Yeah.
It's a Metal Gear Solid 5 situation.
This is my son.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah.
No, I just was very like close to asking you, Cohh, like, what is it like to live with all those animals? And then I remembered I live with a ton of animals.
Yeah, you've got
They're
smaller
just
animals.
smaller.
Yeah, I was gonna say like yours are a lot more scaly and venomous, but I mean it's still a lot of animals.
It's true.
Yes,
that doesn't mean they're any less huggable.
It's true.
Mostly.
You guys could start a farm.
You could hug all of them once.
Here's the thing. Here's a big dream. You get Zeke. You give Zeke like an acre on your property, Cohh. He'll build a house. He'll handle all of the insects, or really his other half will handle all of the insects. And then you can start charging all of your fan base to come onto the farm and check out all the animals and insects.
Done. I'm actually getting on that right now. I'm as we speak clearing out a plot for Zeke.
Yep.
I was building a treehouse. He doesn't even need a real.
Just give him the one that you burned with all the ash. It's fine. You know.
There we go. Done.
It'll be one of those road trip
Go right at home.
billboards in the middle of nowhere, like 2 miles to Cohh's Wilderness. Like, come on down. Like the Tiger King.
That's right.
Cohh's Wilderness Expedition, I think we could call it. Yeah,
there you go.
Cohh's Wilderness Experience.
Yep.
Oh,
ride in the gold-plated golf cart. They hide
with a helicopter suspended by 2 other helicopters.
It's true. It's true. It all makes sense. It all checks out. All right,
Jurassic Park. I'll take it.
Yeah, that's enough news. Let's talk video games for a little while. Zeke, we'll start with you. I haven't played anything in the past 2 weeks, really. Cohh's played a game in the past week, which we'll get to in just a sec. Zeke, you're the variety guy this week. We'll start with the Shadowrun Dragonfall's director cut. Now, I gotta be honest, this is maybe the game's short, but the VODs are short. Did you dip out of this? What's going on with Shadowrun Dragonfall director's cut? The game.
I do not know.
Did you finish
what's going on with that? No. I haven't finished it. I barely
that's why. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I played one stream of it. That's probably why. Like I did it one stream.
Gotcha.
Because I was finishing. What was I finishing? I can't remember what I played before.
No More Heroes?
Yes, that's right. No More Heroes. That's why I didn't put it on the list, because I give JP a list of games I've been playing before or during the show, and I forgot because it's not on my Steam catalog because it's a Switch only game. So I forgot to tell him I played No More Heroes 3. But yeah, anyway, Shadowrun Dragonfall. It's I played the one previous, and I always want to say the first one, but when people talk about, mostly when they talk about the Shadowrun games that are good, playable, so on and so forth, they're usually talking about the 3 that came out most recently: Shadowrun Returns, Shadowrun Dragonfall, and Shadowrun Hong Kong. The one on the Super Nintendo was good, playable, but it was not quite there yet because it wasn't on PC and is graphically and all this, lots of other different things. You can argue that but there was 7 games before these 3. There were 5 of them were titled Shadowrun, just Shadowrun, with no designation except for year.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting past that, I played Shadowrun Returns. I really liked it. It's a lot this is how I would describe Shadowrun. These Shadowrun games. It's D&D cyber with a cyberpunk future twist, mixed with XCOM, XCOM style combat. And the thing that I always impress upon people is why would you play this? What makes it stand out? The writing in the game is really good. The dialogue and the way the characters are voiced. There's no voice acting in it, but the way how if you read a novel, this character's voice is great. Similar kind of a feeling. You really get a handle on who these people are and who these what their motivations are and stuff like that. And yeah, the writing in the previous one was great. The writing in this one is great. The hours, this is one of those kind of games, the hours just kind of fly by. I'm reading every single line in very, very mediocre accents and different styles of playing and stuff. I'm not a professional voice actor yet, but hey, whatever, give me a call.
I've heard you've been in some games, sir.
What's that?
I've heard you've been in some games.
Yeah, I think that counts as professional.
You're right.
By the definition.
I'm pretty sure
you're Zeke, I have not been paid for those.
Oh, okay.
Or did not get paid. It was an agreement. It's okay.
Gotcha.
I volunteered.
Okay. Then yeah, still amateur maybe.
Yeah, I don't want to make it they didn't pay me yet. No. I said I'll do it for free.
I mean, anyway, I was typing up a Twitter right now, so I'll delete it.
I was.
Yeah. He was going to retweet it.
I read every single line. And I love that this orc right here looks like Terry Bradshaw, doesn't it?
It actually does look like Terry Bradshaw. That is Terry Bradshaw as an orc. You are correct. I will agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I read every single line out loud, like every single bit of dialogue. I read it out loud, and still, usually that'll make me super tired and super like, but like the way the dialogue happens in Shadowrun, for some reason, it switches characters enough. The lines that they have are short enough, like they're not like, novels. It's like chunks of lines. It's kind of like the idea behind Twitter and why you don't realize how much you actually are reading on Twitter because you're reading it in such small chunks.
Until you come across that person that posts a thread of 55 tweets in a row.
Correct.
I never read those. I like very rarely ever.
I don't know who does. I don't know who does.
Unless they are like 50 tweets in a row of like 3 sentences. I'll do it. It's I don't know why it's palatable. It tricks me. It tricks me into thinking like, oh, I can read all this. It's fine. But it's like the Da Vinci Code. Did you guys read the Da Vinci Code? It's like 3 pages per chapter. And that's why it was so easy to get through.
Right. It's fast read.
But Shadowrun, same thing. It's like little chunks of lines. And the hours just flew by. And it didn't hurt that it was really well written. And it's got a good it does a good job with pacing. Here's some story chunks, here's some lore chunks, here's some battle. And the battles, it's turn-based, so it takes a bit longer, especially for me, because I'm like, I stress over every little thing. I'm like, I don't know if this does this. Like, I don't go gung-ho like I'm sure more people do, but it's excellent so far. I haven't really got that far in it. I've only got like, I want to say 8 hours.
Oh, okay.
Into it.
That's about what the log time was, yeah.
Yep, 7.9 hours in the game so far. So I looked it up just to see how many days it would take. It's about I want to say a 30 to 40 hour game. So I'm gonna be playing that for a while.
Nice.
But I love the first one. I had a great time with it, and I'm looking forward to continuing on. If you want to know what I'm doing, I'm playing a dwarf. It's called a rigger, which is a drone specialist. They do everything with little robots. So I'm doing that's my
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Awesome.
Because last time I did I think I did shaman last time. So I want to do something different, but I also want to do something that's not in D&D. So so to speak.
Yeah.
So I did dwarf rigger. I did I'm playing it on the hard difficulty, and man, it's been just a lot of fun.
Cool. Sorry, I was looking at the next game to jump to. You did a sponsored stream for Big Rumble Boxing Creed Champions.
I certainly did.
Let's talk about it. Here's Big Rumble Boxing Creed Champions. Talk to me about this game. It actually, for some reason, there was another indie boxing game that I thought was this that you might have played. But this looks actually much higher fidelity than what I saw. How was your time with this?
It was fun. It was a fun little 2 hours. They approached me about doing a sponsor thing, and they said it's a boxing game, but it's like arcade style. Like it's not like super technical like UFC or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's more like Ready to Rumble, like
Yeah.
Those are the older arcade style. So I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'll do it. I love boxing games, and I'm a fan of the Creed and Rocky movies. They wanted to impress upon me that this is not a Rocky game. This is a Creed game.
It's a Creed
I was like, okay, no problem. Rocky's in it though. Yeah, Rocky's in it. Oh, okay, cool. But like, yeah,
Creed's the big IP these days, right? Like Rocky's
right?
not.
Yeah,
That's why
for sure. But they have all the old characters in it. You have to unlock them by doing story modes or versus battles or whatever. I'm not sure if there's online versus though. Is the thing. I know there's local PvP, but I don't know if there is online PvP yet. But I just played the story version of it, and they have Ivan Drago, they have Clubber Lang, as you can see, they have Rocky and Apollo Creed and Adonis Creed. And then they have a myriad of other.
Mickey in it?
No, Mickey's not in it as far as
What the hell? You can't fight as Mickey? That's fucked.
No trainers from the movie.
Yeah.
As far as no cornermen from the movie, as far as I can see.
Really, the heart of the movie, if you think about it.
Yeah. So you go through the game and you play out fights with people that they also made up some other fighters that like are not like that are just in this game. The thing I will say about the game is it looks great. I had a little bit of a problem like trying to get a controller work, so I just played it with keyboard and mouse. I'm not sure if that's something or if it's just on me, because it could very well be just like I couldn't figure it out. But on one of the Steam forums, someone said like, "Oh, you have to do this to make a controller work better or whatever." So it seems like it's a known issue that they're probably going to work out. So I just played on keyboard and mouse, and it was just a matter of like, it's laid out like a fighting game. Like there's 6 keys or stuff you can do. Ultimate. I'm looking at my keys. You put your right hand on the UIOJKL. J for jab, K for quick dodge, L for grab, and like the grab like boxers do, and then you like punch them or whatever. And then O for block, I for powerful punch, and then U for ultimate. And J for, I already said that. But it's very simple. It's a very simplified game. It's not overly complex. There's not a ton of moves. There are combinations and stuff you can do, but it's the level of entry is very, very, the bar to entry is very, very low. I played it on rookie mode one time through, and then I played it on, because there's 3 difficulties: rookie, pro, and champion. I played a rookie all the way through once, got pretty good, like lost maybe once or twice. And then I played it on pro, and then it gets a lot more difficult. The AI does start, it feels like it starts to read your moves a little bit, whatever that's called. What is that? That has a name. When the
cheapness, yeah, that's cheap.
Right.
I don't know what the actual term is, but yeah, input read.
Input reading. There
Machine
you go. It seems like, I mean, I could just be very bad, but it seems like it might input read, because it, like half the time I tried to do an ultimate, it dodged it, so I was like, meh. But anyways, it's very, very simple. Let me see. Let me just make sure I'm not telling tales out of school here. It's $39.99, and
it's a steep buy.
I mean, they got to pay for the licenses. I understand, like why they got to try and like get their money back. But I probably would wait for a sale to get it if you're thinking about getting it, because it doesn't seem there's like a lot of content there. Like it's fun, but not fun for like a bunch of hours in a row. But it is like you get the funnest aspect of it is you get to play as if you are a fan of the movies. You get to play as Rocky and Ivan Drago and all that shit. And I had fun being Mr. T for a couple hours.
Yeah, that's the best choice, obviously, clearly.
Yeah.
Mr. T's great. Cool. We'll circle back to Indie Sunday here. Let's hear about Pathfinder, Cohh. You're deep in this game.
Man.
I was looking for footage. You are on. Game. You posted 12 hours ago, part number 100 on your YouTube.
And each part is 30 minutes.
Yeah. So you're deep. You've put some hours in it.
Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous is absolutely awesome. I mean, it is one of the deepest RPGs. It has an incredibly cool, deep character system. Then it has an entire character progression called Mythic Paths on top of it. There's an army leading mini game. Apparently, in the section I'm in, there's like a city building game that opens up. It is huge. It is very much do your own thing. There are tons of options. Like I am completely infatuated and in love with it. I'm probably going to try to sneak in a little bit right after Drop Frames today. I'm going to be playing more tonight. I'm going to be playing it tomorrow. It's just like, yeah. It is a phenomenal, incredibly deep, really well written, really well voice acted RPG, and it's great. And I'm not even a quarter through it in the time that I played it so far. I'm playing on hard difficulty, which I can't in good conscience recommend to anyone.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of conversation around, and I think this was true with the first one, right? Like they made hard
Yes.
hard. Like they don't beat around.
They made hard,
it's
and there's
fun.
also even an unfair thing. The thing is that when you're dealing with difficulty levels and you're dealing with math, there's only so far you can get before you start getting when there's so many different aspects of the math that you can change, like the AC, the saves, the amount of damage it's doing, the amount of damage you're taking. Like there's only with so many different levels, it takes a huge amount of balancing, and frequently you will come up to difficulty aspects where one of those levels is just completely out of whack. Like there's been enemies that I've seen where like their AC is literally to a point where I can't hit them, and their damage is basic. Their damage almost always hits me because of the modifiers they get,
Sure.
and then they're doing like normal attacks are doing a half of my tank's life, and then if they crit, it perma kills whatever character they crit every single time. And for a situation like that, if you want to beat those encounters, like you will die a bunch of times, you will have to reload a bunch of times, and it's just the way of the difficulty.
Yeah.
Like especially on hard and unfair, crits especially. Like a fight will be going great. You'll have spent like 5 minutes micromanaging it, and multiple times, like for me, the second to last hit or last hit will then be a crit and perma kill one of my characters, and it's just like, well, reload. Like, that's just you're rolling the dice.
Yeah.
That's it.
For me and Zeke, this sounds like a D&D game we were a part of once upon a time. Like,
Yeah.
sounds a little too familiar right there.
So it's I've developed an allergy to low rolls, so I tend to sneeze and every so often hit the reload button.
Nice.
I very rarely save scum, but I have developed an allergy.
Can you save before each roll?
No, you can't save. You can save before combat starts, but you can't save in combat.
Got it.
You can save before out of combat rolls. So, like, if you're running around the map, you'll see in your combat log if all of your characters start rolling perception. And if one of your characters rolls, then a hidden item or event will pop up. But if they all fail, then you can reload and then go back and then do that perception check again and hope for the best or buff up a little bit or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the actual combats are pretty much all or nothing. You either win. There's 3 states. You either win and everything's great. You win and decide how much the recovery is going to cost to the benefit of how hard the fight is, or you just lose completely. So, and like for instance, the way that it works is a character can go down, and if a character's down, they have no health, they're out of the fight, but their profile picture is still lit up, and then they can go dead. And dead is when they are down and then take a certain amount of extra damage, and in that case, they generally their body explodes. They're just gone. And in those cases, you have to spend generally a lot of resources to bring them back to life, or they will just never come back to life. But yeah, the big thing about this game that keeps impressing me the more I play it is just how there is really no other game that gives you the incredible amount of customization that this game gives you. Not only in terms that you have 6 party members, but then there are a variety of classes. Almost every class has a plethora of subclasses, which completely change the way that they play. And then you can actually properly multi-class on top of that. So it's incredible. Like one of my favorite characters right now is a monk subclass, a Zen archer. So he is a bow using monk, and he has all sorts of cool bow associated monk skills, and a lot of the normal monk skills are converted to bow. And then when he got to level 4, I made him a sacred huntsman, which is a subclass of an inquisitor, which then gave him a giant leopard pet, which he is now also going into. So it has become like this completely different class that would never exist on its own. You have this like really good range DPS mixed with a super powerful pet, while at the same time has like the buffing power of a mid-tier cleric with the Inquisitor base. So it's like all sorts of interesting stuff. My main class is like a Slayer Deliverer. I'm using an Oracle Paladin hybrid for my tank, although I just switched over to this new little tiny gnome that's super pissed off. He's like a combination between a Hell Knight, Warrior Recruit, and now I think what's it called, a Blood Rager. So he's basically a tank that is kind of like delved into blood raging, which is like a barbarian style kind of rage mode. But it's so cool. Like it's such a fun game. There's tons of things you can do. And again, the thing that really blows me away is not only the writing incredible, the subquests and side quests have been awesome, and then the voice acting is just like Like the characters in the game, the voice acting is incredible. I have not yet met a character that I haven't fundamentally appreciated the voice acting, and most importantly, voice direction. Like especially the girl Lindsay from the first game, who was like this super cute halfling, really over the top, like really playful and stuff. Her voice actor, who's also named Lindsay, comes back in the second one as this eyeless demoness, and she's like this super over sexualized, like draws out every word, like demon temptress, who is like a big part of the story, and it is incredible. Like to see this, like the same voice actor do two different roles. What they've like teased out of the talent is just incredible. It's really really good.
Yeah.
You don't have to say over sexualized. There's no such thing. That's it.
Fair.
You can.
I should have just said super sexualized. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's a good point. She does it so well.
If
it's really well done.
I just want to jump in here just real quick. If it's any indication, like I am excited to play this, and I bought it like immediately when it came out. It's not something I'm going to play on my stream because it's one of those games that, like, kind of like Celeste said, like I started on the hardest difficulty, and I know it's just going to take me hours and hours and hours because I'm going to be like reloading, saves coming, and all this kind of stuff. And it'll like I like to reserve games like this because of the hours I would have to put in, because it'll last a long time. And then anyways, I just barely started. I have on Steam, I have 3.3 hours in, and I have only gotten to the first autosave because 2.8 of those hours
Character creation, right?
were spent
Yeah.
like going there are so many options.
Yeah.
Just creating the first fucking character, it can
And
be
they're
daunting
all
for someone
like
who doesn't know.
90% of them are like highly viable. Like there's a few that are just a little bit weird, and like it's a cool premise, but it doesn't quite work, or there's no real reason to do it. Like some of the bard subclasses are a little suspect and stuff like that, where it's kind of like maybe they were just trying to throw some stuff in. But
Yeah.
almost all the subclasses, in some way, especially as you go down the difficulties, they may not be viable for like hard and unfair, and questionably in core. But as you go to the lower ones, like everything is viable, which makes it even more crazy. It lets you really kind of role play your character more in terms of instead of having to like min max.
And that's and honestly, it would have been longer. The character creation, because I was doing it on my own time, it would have been a lot longer if I didn't know like D&D a little bit. Like, because Pathfinder is a sort of like it's a spiritual take on 3.5, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Of D&D 3.5, which arguably people say like might be the best system that's been created. I don't want to get in that argument, but
sure.
I was familiar with that. I've been playing D&D since D&D AD&D 2E or whatever, with the white and blue like graphs and shit, like
Thaco
way back
is
then.
a word.
So
yeah. That's all I got.
So I've been playing it for a long time, so I'm familiar with like the D&D systems and that kind of stuff. So if I wasn't though, they're like so much reading. Like I had to like 2 hours of just like going, okay, this is something I don't recognize. This is something I don't recognize. And then you see like shit you can't have, and you're like, why can't I have that?
Yeah, that happens to me so often. I'll be sitting there
Why
like,
can't I be that thing?
why can't I equip this? Why isn't this ability working? Okay, hold on. Let me go to my character sheet. Let me sort through my feats. Okay, proficiencies. Yeah, no. Okay, what do those proficiencies mean? Okay, wait, is that exotic? No, is that martial? Hold on, wait. But I should be like that's most of the streams, to be honest. Is that or figuring out why something works.
That's why it wouldn't work for streaming for me, because I'd be like, yeah, thanks for the resub. I just want to sit, and that would be it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I've done that to Katie. I've been like, yeah, babe, I'll be there, and
I will say this. There is a relatively thriving Pathfinder community that loves watching people play this game, and Kingmaker for that matter.
Yeah.
A lot of them you will find showing up in your chat, and I have found that anytime I come up to something I don't know, I whatever I'm thinking, I say it out loud, and I start having a discussion with chat. Like just today, there was this big thing because my leopard, you can turn it into like a trip machine. So he's super fast. He runs up and he trips. And there's an action called trip, and it takes a full round, but it doesn't. But it takes your attack because it's a full round action. But because of some of the perks that it gets and some of the passive abilities of its bite, it actually gets a trip in its bite. There's a chance to do that. So we're having this like conversation chat where it's like, okay, am I better off using the trip thing, or should I keep the attack up because that has a trip base to it? Is that going to take advantage of the other feats that I have? Is that going to synergize? Which one's better? Should I auto cache? Should I not? So it's like you start having a discussion with chat, and there's a lot of super knowledgeable people that like to watch this while they play their games, and it's led to some very interesting discussions. I just in the time that I played this game, I have learned so much about how the system works, about best ways to take advantage of it. Like, also one really fun thing about hard difficulty is it makes you play outside of your comfort zone, which I really enjoy. Like you can bang your head against something for 5-10 attempts, and then it's just like, okay, this isn't working. Like we have to try something completely new, and then all of a sudden you find yourself using spells that you may not normally do, or maybe you'll start like just trying things, and one of it might work. And that makes for some really interesting experiences in the game that you may not normally have, which is kind of cool. Of course, you have to be fine with instant kills all the time, but
Yeah. Do you have the moments that I really like are like you get into the game, you start like looking up stuff. Like I'll look up stuff like, okay, now I played the game for 20 to 30 hours now. What is the benefit of this, blah, blah, blah. And then you see like lists of like, these are the best spells. And you're like, that spell seems so fucking worthless. Why is it like at the top of your list?
Yep. Oh, 100%.
All right, I'm gonna try
100%.
using it. And then you're like, okay.
Oh, so the whole class is based around this spell. Oh,
Yeah.
Samsonite. Of course.
Yeah. It opens up a whole, you're like, dude, I've been playing fucking hard mode the entire time by not using this thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have encountered that numerous times. Absolutely. And again, that just comes with when your game is as big and deep as this game, and this is like a rule set, like on a rule set, and then you've got the mythic pass on top of that, and then you've got all the multi-classing stuff and how those feats work with the skills, and it's insane. You go to the first spell vendor of the game, the first spell scroll vendor, and you can sit there holding the down arrow for a solid, you could probably hold it down for a solid like 3 minutes. There's just hundreds
Jesus
and
Christ.
hundreds and hundreds of spells. Like almost any spell you can find in the actual tabletop is in this game in some form. It is somehow translated into this video game. So it is baffling how much kind of creative control they give you over having your own experience.
Now, would you say, because this is something that I would suggest for people who look at this and are kind of daunted by it, I would, tell me if this is a good idea or not. I would say, start the game. Let's start it on the absolute lowest, easiest setting you can, and then play it for a little while. Get used to like the stuff, like get used to how things work, like going through like get a party together, figure out that shit, and then start it over on a harder difficulty or a difficulty you think you can handle and shit like that. Like that's what I would suggest. Like get a handle on the basics and how shit works before you put some difficulty on yourself.
Yeah, I would say that's a very good way to do it. The best bit of advice I can give is very similar to yours, where I say the least, it works like this. There's two things that you need to go into a game like this, kind of understanding about yourself. And the first thing is, how much actual knowledge do you have of the game? How much of the game do you know? And how well can you utilize it to do well in the game? That's the first one. And the second one, and arguably more important thing, is how much effort do you want to put into learning all of the game mechanics? Because you take that number and combine it, and the lower that number is, the easier your difficulty goes. At the same time, though, if you know almost nothing, but you don't mind poring over sheets and really diving into it and really going into it, you can go ahead and up your difficulty, and you'll find yourself get to that situation that I was talking about earlier, where it's like, yeah, you start banging your head against fights, but you find yourself learning a huge amount. It's kind of like a trial by fire situation, where it's like you're forcing to learn yourself. You're poring over the combat log. You're looking at the rolls and going, okay, what do those positive means? What do those negative means? You go to your spell book and go, okay, how can I reduce that number? You look at over all your spells and you're like, okay, that lowers AC. That stacks with that. That's a natural bonus. That's a competency bonus. That's a luck bonus. I can add those together on my guy. And like the more of that kind of thinking that you do or want to do, the higher difficulty that you can go. So if and it's important to mention for people that are super overwhelmed, or especially people that are low in both those numbers, you can set your character to auto level. You can set the overland fighting to go by itself. Like there's a lot in this. You can just play this game for the story, and it's a great story. You can
lower the difficulty.
They're even
as well.
Absolutely. You can even have your characters auto level
in game
if you want to on the lowest difficulty. So you don't even need to worry about all that stuff if you don't want. And you can play it almost like an old school like Baldur's Gate game, where it's like a lot more simplified and a lot more kind of straightforward. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of ways to play, and this game has one of the best difficulty selection systems ever. They lay out everything that each difficulty adjusts, and you can go in and individually change them, lower them, raise them, turn things on, turn things off. It's really cool.
That is maddening, though. I will say that's a little maddening, and the reason why is because like I want to play it on the hardest difficulty that everybody's playing on. I want to be in that club, but how do I know? Like they didn't turn off this or they didn't turn on that, like that kind of shit, Like because with the difficulty,
we call that like true hard.
20 different things you can like click on and off.
There's two types. There's true harders like me, probably you. We're the true hards, and then there's lying weasels, and that's the second group. Lying weasels, and those are people that adjust the difficulty. Yeah, so you just fall into one of those two categories.
Now hold on, am I a lying weasel if I prefer it turn based?
Absolutely. You're not playing. You're not
playing
as the soul of the game. I'm kidding.
Playing
of course,
like
of course
Dungeons
not.
and Dragons.
That's just preferential. I'm
playing it like D&D, man. D&D is turn based.
Well, no. Yeah. Well, so is DOS 2. So is Pillars of Eternity 2. But it's completely preferential. A lot of people say that turn based is easier, but it's also a lot longer. So the game actually takes significantly longer. Yeah. So the easier thing about turn based is that it lets you utilize more abilities because every character you're kind of firing off the best of the best every round, which is good. But at the same time, fights take a lot longer. They can be more drawn out. And there's many situations when turn based does not mean easier.
Can you swap that on the fly?
On the fly. If you look in the very bottom left, right next to my shoulder down there in the UI, that is the turn-based button to the left there, that little castle-looking thing. Gotcha. Yep, that button, you click that and you go into turn-based mode. Cool. I'm doing a real-time with Oz playthrough because not only do I kind of prefer that, it feels a little bit more old school, like Baldur's Gate style, but at the same time, I feel it's really good for streaming because I'm not, like the action is up and things are going quick, and it's, I like that a lot. But there's people that don't even touch real-time with pause. In fact, they don't like it at all, and they only play it in turn-based, and that's fine. It's different flavors of ice cream.
Yeah. Yep. I had a question in my chat from Garrett, which I'm just going to read the question. I'm not sure the actual meaning of it because it has to do with mechanics in the game. Can you ask Cohh if someone who didn't like Kingmaker's time-based quest and kingdom ruling, but liked the base combat, if this game differs enough to pick it up, or if I bounced off Kingmaker for those reasons, it's not enough change?
Okay, so from what I understand, you can auto the Heroes of Might and Magic style overland map. I've been told similarly to doing that in Kingmaker, you may not want to, but the Hom, we'll just call it Hom style. The Hom style metagame in Wrath of the Righteous is, I feel, a lot quicker, and it requires a lot less kind of like investment than the Kingmaker one. The Kingmaker one, you really kind of had to dive into the mechanics and understand synergies and where things blocked. This needs to go next to this and be in this city with this building and all that stuff. I think it took a lot. But the Hom style game in Wrath of the Righteous is a little bit less invasive. That being said, I have heard that when I get to the end of the section I'm in now, there is a city building element, but I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really answer that. But yeah, it seems to be a little bit faster, at least in the first couple acts with the Hom stuff. And I have been told you can set that on to auto. So if you just want to play the game, you can do that.
That's cool.
And also, like, I want to mention this, and I don't like. None of us are like we're not getting paid to talk about Pathfinder or whatever. So like, I feel like I can say this with no reservation. If you want like a more simplified version of this game to play before, like Solasta is perfect for like an entry level game that this is like, but this is 10 times more complex. Celeste is a nice, like, straightforward, like, shows you everything, how to do everything, and it's very similar turn-based, like, D&D stuff, and it's not like really good story, but the thing that you need to learn about like games like this is the combat. You don't need to learn about story. Like, story you can do on your own. Like, that's all, whatever your personal preferences are. But that game would definitely help you get a better handle on a game like this. And I love Celeste. I played all the way through it. It's very streamlined, but it's also, very well done. Everything worked.
The first game by the company that made Celeste, they did a fantastic job. And I am really excited to see their next game. I'm hoping they just do like a Celeste 2 or something, and I bet it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and DOS.
That's a great recommendation.
I've never played DOS, so like
Divinity, you mean?
That's Divinity Original. Yeah. I've never played. I picked it up and started it like 5 times. I've never played through it.
Divinity's pretty good.
Oh man!
Out of all of these, that's the one that I've played the most. That and Baldur's Gate 3, I guess.
I've heard
DOS 2 is definitely the most snarky. Like DOS and DOS 2 are very snarky games. There's a lot of serious stuff in there, but they do not take themselves seriously in a good way.
It's very Larian. Like, you've watched their streams before. It's that.
Oh yeah.
You get a lot of that, for sure.
I played through Wasteland recently, so I get it.
Yeah, there you go. Cohh, question for you. In terms of, like, you've played D&D, in terms of the actual D&D, you've played games based on the D&D rule set. Are you more inclined now to be drawn to like a Pathfinder? Like, if someone offered you, hey, do you want to play Pathfinder or D&D and like a tabletop experience, would you go towards Pathfinder just because of what's presented in this game?
I do really like the Pathfinder rule set. Absolutely. I also really want to explore the other aspects of Pathfinder, because the other aspects of Pathfinder bring in like all sorts of super technology things that I don't normally see in D&D in a relatively large fantasy environment. So, I mean, there was an item I got at the end of Kingmaker. It was basically like this cybernetic wrist thing that you could put on your arm, and it would, like, depending on your class, do different things to your body. And stuff like that is super awesome to me. So I would love to play a Path. Yeah, that's like in Numeria, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, anyway, I yes is the short answer. The TLDR is yes. It absolutely would. Playing these games, Pathfinder's awesome. Yeah, I love the rule set. So yeah, it's very cool.
I figured that was the case. That makes sense. What does this game run? Is this $60 on Steam? Is this full price?
I want to say it is.
Or what even is full price?
Whatever it is, I know, right? Whatever it is, I can tell you it is 100% worth $60 if you are going to play. It's $50 actually. It's $49.99. And yeah, just to be clear, it is 100% worth that. If you are a CRPG fan, like, it is absolutely worth that.
What's your hours logged on Steam if you're looking at it?
I am looking at Steam. I have currently played this game 74 hours.
You said you're a fourth of the way through, you think?
But I played some of the beta on that too, I think. So I'm thinking if we go by my YouTube, which apparently you said what, I'm around episode 100?
Yeah, 100
Every episode on
minutes.
YouTube is, yeah. So I've played at least 50 hours, if not more. And no, I'm not even a quarter of the way through yet. I'm not even done with Act 2 of Act 6, and apparently, like, the later acts are longer. So, and what's even crazier to say is, and this is the part I can't stress more, none of it has felt like filler. In the time that I've played, like, I have had zero filler. I have had 10 plus hours of reloads on the same encounter. Let's be real. You add it all together, I probably have like 10 plus hours of just reloading on the same encounters. But those have been encounters that have been, fun. I've been learning stuff. And again, the thing that I like to tell people is, when you're playing on a difficulty like hard, and this goes for any game, not just this one. When you're playing on a game on the hardest or close to hardest difficulty, you're having a super hard part of the game. Every single time you fail, it's like a bar. It's like an experience bar filling up. And the higher that gets, the sweeter it is when you win. And that's exactly how it is in this game. And there's, like, anytime I'm doing a fight, Chad will be like, oh, lower the difficulty. Oh, do this, do that. I mean, can you just, and I'm just like, no, I'm going to beat this and I'm going to like it. And oh man, I'm going to love it. Like, the more I fail, like, the better it's going to feel. And then I'll beat it and just be like, yeah, like, it's so good. It's so good.
What's the loot like? Are you getting, like are we
Abundance.
getting like +1 swords? Are we getting like swords of like Vorpal
So
blades?
many
Like, what
different
are we
things.
talking
Oh
here?
God, yes, dude. There are so many different weapons in this game. There's so many different effects you can get on the weapons. There's passives that you can get. There's absolutely 100% unique weapons with unique looks, with unique particle effects. It feels like old school EverQuest looting, where
Hmm.
it's just like almost every named item is relatively unique. It'll have like passive traits, and then a lot of times it'll have like its own little unique effect that's only on that weapon. There's some weapons that are just like over the top godly. Like for instance, the paladin I'm having right now, she has a hammer, and when she misses with the hammer, it emits a shockwave and then like stuns everyone with a will save, and then also does damage on those that it hits. And that's on her every miss. So you could do an entire build around her sucking at melee and just like So I mean, like there's tons of stuff like that. So yeah, it's really cool.
Cool.
The looting of the game is as a looter, I'm incredibly at home in this game.
Awesome stuff. Let's just say power through, but let's do Indie Sunday, and then we'll probably wrap here.
Oh, okay.
Let me. All right, here we go. Indie Sunday. We'll go through this Suit for Hire. Zeke.
Yeah.
How's
Okay.
Suit for Hire?
Suit for Hire is a shoot and toss enemies around in this top-down arcade shooter, cause mayhem and fight using your gun fu and martial arts to reach the best scores possible. Now, first thing out of the gate, I want to mention that this game is early access.
Okay.
It is very independent gaming, a very independent game. It is developed and published by God Mode Interactive. It is a bit like Hotline Miami, sort of like it's a twin stick control kind of system, and with kind of like a John Wick kind of a feeling to it. How the game is played. Yeah, how the game is played is you have a magazine with, it looks like 7 bullets, I think 7 bullets in it. And so once you use those 7 bullets, they're gone until you find more bullets. And the way you find more bullets is there's drops from certain enemies, there's ammo refills, but a lot of the times what you have to do to refill your ammunition is you have to complete a what do they call it? There's a name for it, but it's like a glory kill. It's like a melee.
Reload? Oh.
No, you have to like get up there. So that's part of the mechanic of adding intensity to the game, is that if you run out of bullets, you have to get up there and mix it up. You have to get up there in melee range, or if you miss too many shots or whatever, and you have to get up there and like punch. But also, you have to. It builds up that meter. If you see it at the bottom middle, there's that white bar that gets getting filled up. You have to get that bar by using your melee. You have to get it up to halfway, and only then will you be able to do like your cool move. And the thing is, that's some of the funnest shit and most badass feeling stuff to do is run out of ammo. You have to go up and do this thing. So you punch a few guys, then you finally get your meter up, and you punch a few guys, and then the prompt comes up, and you like flip a guy over, and you like have his arm, and then you like shoot him in the head, like just like John Wick. It's like you flip him over and you point blank him right in the head, and it refills your magazine. And they had I think 4 different styles of those kills, and they're working on more. Like I said, early access. So there's a lot of stuff they're still working on. Man, some of those kills they feel so cool to do. And it controls it. There's some glitches, some visual glitches. Sometimes your legs kind of like move a little bit independent of you. Sometimes your arms, like it flashes between like you aiming over here, aiming over there. It's definitely a work in progress. I don't think I could recommend like spending money on it yet, but I will definitely keep you updated as to the updates and stuff like that, like when they improve their stuff. The devs were cool enough. They came in the chat. I didn't like ask them or anything, but they saw that someone was playing their game. So the devs came in the chat and they were talking about the game and stuff, and they were really excited about what's coming, and
Cool.
and they were really like, "We're sorry, like this is just early access. We're still working on a lot of stuff." And I'm like, "Dude, don't worry about it. I've got a big indie heart, so chillax. It's okay." I didn't say chillax though. I really didn't. I
You
don't
should have
say
said
that.
chillax. That's the language.
I don't say that word.
They're probably from San Francisco. That's the language that they speak. Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of too late. I do want to point out I've already unsubbed.
Should have said chillax.
Yeah.
We'll miss you, buddy. But like most of the levels are laid out in that you have a pistol, and you want to one shot everything. So it's not like you're not spraying and praying. It's like pow, 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 pow. So you feel very cool, very, very assassin hitman-y kind of thing. They come at you just tap, 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 and it gives you better score. Another thing, they're like, yeah, that scoring and money thing, we have plans for that. We don't have anything in place yet, but all that scoring and money that you pick up, we got some things in the works that we're gonna do with that. I was like, cool, all right, cool. And then you see nice 2 perfect shots, and the more perfect shots you build up, I think after the 7th perfect shot, you get I think you get a magazine reload as well. But I wasn't super good at getting 7 perfect shots in a row.
You got 4 right here. Yeah. Oh, but you ran out of bullets.
But there is a definitely difficult. The melee is not ideal because they have reach on you with their bats and stuff. So you have to get in there. Mainly what you want to do is bait out a swing and then go. But if you can get surrounded by bat wielding assholes and just get crushed. Like I had to restart many levels many times. So there is there is a difficulty to it. But man, when you get after restarting levels over and over, you start, remembering where the guys are. So once you're going through, you're just like, pow, pow. You're not even looking, like pow, 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 pow. And that feels really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not ready yet.
Still early access.
I have high hopes for it.
Yeah.
Very much high hopes. If you have money to burn, $14.99 on Steam right now if you want to check it out.
Cool. Looks like a little like John Wick Hotline Miami thing. Is there music, by the way? How's the music?
It's not bad.
Okay.
Not great, not bad. It fits, but it's not it doesn't stand out.
Got it. Okay.
Fair.
Dungeoneers next up on the list. What do we think of Dungeoneers, Zeke? It looks a little hommy. Actually, funny enough. How's old Dungeoneers?
Hommy? HOM?
Heroes of Might and Magic.
Heroes of Might and Magic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Never played it.
It's old game.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm glad you said that because this game is simple. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not bad, but it's very much it's straightforward, hex-based, simple combat. It's I want to say it's a roguelike because you die and you come back and you finish a level, you take some of the stuff you got with you, and then you play another level, I think. Yeah.
Roguelike generally means you start over from the beginning. Like you die and then you start over with some bonuses.
Well, you do die at the end, I think. Oh. You die at the end. But the basic gist of the story is you fight on these hex-based grids. Very simplified combat. You have 3 stats to think about. You have your attack, which is the sword. You have your ranged attack, which is your bow. And you have your defense, which is the shield icon. And you go through the levels and you try and upgrade all those things. There's a certain amount of randomness to it. It's all dice rolling, but it's a dice rolling. You can hedge your bets by getting better equipment and stuff like that. You can avoid fights if you want to. You can sneak past the enemies, and get the items, and then just leave and not fight them if you want. You'll forego the experience, but you won't die or get hurt or whatever. It was the first couple levels were pretty straightforward, pretty easy. I didn't play it for a terribly long time. It looks like I got About an hour, 1.2 hours is what it says on Steam. It is also early access. Let me get that out of the way as well. So it's not finished yet, but it's just an easy game to jump in and play. Nothing much like complexity, not that much complexity to speak of. But it's also one of those games where you have to unlock a bunch of shit. That's why I was like roguelike, sort of.
Sure.
Because you die, you get fame, and then you go back and do another quest. It is a different like enemy. Like you fight the green dragon, and then you fight the white dragon, and then you fight the black dragon, and stuff like that. But it's the structure is like very much the same from one level to the next. I'm guessing that'll change. I wasn't able to unlock. There's 2 other classes so far. I wasn't able to get enough fame points to unlock the other 2 classes. But that's the way it plays. It's like kill the dragon at the end, come back, do another one. Kill that dragon, come back, do another one. You get fame points as you go. And then you use the fame points to unlock the other thing. Yeah. It is developed and published by Rogue Sword, strategy and adventure something. And it is early access, $14.99 on Steam.
Let's jump to Sicko Island. What's going on in Sicko Island, Zeke?
This will be short.
Okay.
Didn't have fun on Sicko Island, Zeke?
Nah, I looked at it and I was like, okay, this looks jank, but you know what? It could be charming. It could be funny. The jank could work for it, in making it an enjoyable experience. And it did not. It wasn't that great. It was pretty like I didn't understand like what I was doing. The first objective is find all 3 melee weapons, and I found one of them, and the rest of the time I just wandered around trying to find the other 2. As far as I could see, there was no like compass system or map system or anything like leading me towards the other 2 melee weapons.
Oh boy.
And I just like traveled around and fought like dude bros from that just got out of the gym with their like they had like tank tops and shorts and caps on and shit.
Sickos.
And yeah, they're sickos, right?
Yeah.
And the attacking is super slow. You got to like build up your stamina meter and then attack. And even then, it's like you miss sometimes and stuff. It was just too jank for me to like even really get into it. Like I played half an hour, and I'm like, nope, I'm done. Like it's not anything yet.
It happens.
It's not a great. It wasn't a great.
There's a sicko right there. Get him.
Yep, there he is. There's a dude, bro, with his. You knock him down.
Oh,
you can't hit him while he's on the ground. That was the coolest part of the game. The kip up, like you don't see that enough. I don't think.
It's true.
But yeah, you just
underutilized.
You just like. Yeah, you just. And you can't hit them like it seemed like the most opportune time to hit them would be while they're on the ground.
Yeah. Yes, it would do the most damage as well, right?
It would, absolutely.
Yeah. And they are invincible. They have iframes until they get up, all the way up, and then start swinging at you. So they're like, okay.
That's Sicko Island.
Like trying to hit them, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was
another sicko.
There's sickos all over.
Oh, he's got a
beanie
on.
Lots
I don't know
sickos.
if you knew, but sickos like
weird game.
They like to dress in Under Armour, apparently.
Naturally. Well, what does someone pay for this, Zeke? How much would you barter for this on the old Steam?
Well, I would pay I would go to itch.io and see if there's a free version of it. But it is $9.99 on Steam, developed and published by RC1 Entertainment. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Hey, no bad publicity. Nope, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
True enough. Ravensword Undaunted, another first-person game, but looks to be a little bit better quality. What'd you think of this?
This one was actually this one actually looked good. It played well. It is, and people will, once you bring up the video, people will see.
Yeah.
Even in the Steam blurb, it says Ravensword Undaunted is an FPS dungeon crawler inspired by Hexen and Heretic set within the Ravensword universe, which I've never heard of. I don't know what the Ravensword universe is, but it is developed by Trimatra Interactive, published by Crescent Moon Games. It is still in early access, another one of those early access games, so I'm guessing they have more coming. It's priced right, it's $8, $7.99, and it like the complaints I had, or the things that I found wrong about this game, are just like early access things wrong, meaning content. There's not a whole lot of content. Like you look at and it even says like you look at the area select screen, and it's like coming soon, under construction. Like, okay, so like this is nowhere near being a complete game yet. The environments are beautiful. Like the levels go on a bit long. Well, let me just kind of like explain what the game like loop is. You start at the beginning of a level, you go through, you kill a bunch of skeletons, or you run past them, avoid them, or whatever you want to do. They will chase you for quite a long time, so killing them is probably optimal. There is you run along and you pick up different like swords, staffs, axes, all that stuff. They're just kind of like strewn about, laying on the ground, and they're of varying qualities, and damage and all that kind of stuff. So you find like, oh, this staff is better than the other staff, so you start using that. The things that obviously I'm not a big fan of weapon durability. You find enough of them, so it's not really a bad thing. But if you find like a really cool staff and it does a lot of damage, and then it's like the durability runs out, you don't get to use that staff for the rest of the level. You can once you complete the level, or I'm not sure if you complete a level or die, you take your stuff back to the central hub and you can repair it. So you can use it on the next level if you want, the next go through. The levels are long. The enemies are not a lot of variation in the enemies. In the first few levels, a lot of skeleton and like a werewolf from time to time. But it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Vermintide, like a simplified Vermintide, where it's just like you go through the level, you get hordes of enemies, and you just have to do like things to progress. Like in the first level, you have to go through all these this land filled with skeletons, kill your way or sneak your, or dodge your way through, and then you break these 3 crystals that are closing this portal, this wooden like door. You break the 3 crystals, the spell is broken, and then you can progress, and then you get all the way to the end, and you see like it was like, and you found the end. Hit the button and you go back to the hub. You're like, oh,
that's early access.
Wow. All right. I found the end. Good. Okay.
Early access.
But yeah, it's very much early access.
Yeah.
The things you can see the things it has going for it. It works. Like all the mechanics all work. It looks great. It's maybe a little bit on the like dark and dank and like shit like that. Like that's fine. It's fine. But like, how about a flower? How about like a nice
Gears
green
of
tree
War
somewhere?
syndrome? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It's like gray and a little dark and a little brown. I'm just like, how about throw a little dash of blue in there? Some here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still early access, but I think like it's a good homage to the games that it mentioned before, Hexen and Heretic or whatever. And it's $8. So like I wasn't disappointed. I didn't think I overpaid for it. But I would recommend like waiting until there's more updates to the content stuff.
Got it. Final game on the list is actually called The List. Talk to me about The List. I think you actually went back and played The List a little bit more.
I did.
Yeah. How is this?
The List. I'm a sucker for FMV. Always have been. And when I saw this game, I was like, this kind of reminds me of Her Story. If you guys remember that game, where it's a bunch of interviews and you take keywords out of the interviews and you search them and find more videos. That is what this is. There are 275 clips in this game. But don't let that like deter you. Like the clips are like anywhere from like 3 seconds to 30 seconds. So none of them are too terribly long. The basic story, the basic like starting story of this is a young man is interviewed by the police only to turn up dead a week later. 3 years have passed. A special agent from Santa Fe navigates the police database in order to solve the mystery. The difficult part about this game is, and I think it's been a while since I played her story, but the difficult part is in order to find new videos, you have to predict what the one dude is going to say. So if you're missing like a video in between like 34 and 36, you're missing video 35. You have to look at 35 or 34 and go, okay, that's what he said there. Because the crux of the game is you don't get the interviewer's questions. So you don't get the interrogator, or excuse me, the interrogator's questions. You don't get any of those. You just get the responses.
Got it.
So you don't get any of what the police are saying. You just get what he says. All of that shit is lost. So you have to like go, okay, I asked that question. What would logically be next in this line of questioning? And you have to kind of like, not only do I have to think about what question I would ask, but what would his response be? And that's how I would find the video, because the keywords are only in what he says.
Got it.
So it's really cool to like, puzzle it out. There is some twisty turny stuff in there that I won't like. It's like the part of the joy of the game is discovering like what the fuck is happening. What exactly is going on. It's hard to talk about without in detail without like kind of revealing it. I'm just going to say that it was a treat. It was a treat to discover like
did you do all of it?
Shit. Okay. Yeah, I played through the entire game.
You did.
There is a downloadable demo on Steam. If you want to demo it, you can play that. Nice. It's $5.99, so it's good for the price. It looks like it took me 5.6 hours, so 5.5 hours to go through the game, and it was a trip. There was a couple of moments where I was like I accidentally I had gotten all the way to the point where I had 10 clips that I hadn't seen yet, and I was just starting to like throw out words, just like that word, okay, that word, and then you like get a clip that you hadn't seen before, and sometimes you're like, oh, I should have said
blank.
This has nothing to do with the game, so I'm just using examples. Like, okay, I said chicken, but I didn't say rooster. So it didn't the related words. You're like, okay. I said the thesaurus, but not skyscraper or whatever. So it's sometimes you're like, okay, I could have definitely done that. Or sometimes you're like, there's no fucking way I would have got that one. And a lot of times the clips, because it once you complete the game, you start the game and you can look at the clips you missed if you want to.
Cool.
And sometimes I was like, there's no fucking way I would have ever got that. He says one sentence and like one word I picked out of there, like just random word. I'm like, come on, there's no fucking way I would have got that. I got that on accident, if anything. But a lot of them you'd be like, oh, okay, I understand why I didn't get it. But it was a decent, cool ending that the chat and I had fun discussing.
Nice. What does the list run again? Wrapping up.
$5.99 with a playable demo.
I just bought it.
There you go. The old demo.
Zeke, you influenced me.
Hey. They say the best influencers are one that influence the influencers. Those are mega influencers.
I have been influenced.
Yeah.
What it says on the door to my office.
Those are the mega influencers. Hey, Twitch just launched a new thing here before we wrap up. They have launched goals. I just launched a goal on my stream to see what the hell happened, and chat said a goal popped up on the stream. So a goal essentially what a goal is, if you have ever been to a stream before and you've seen a subscriber number with a subscriber goal or a follower number with a follower goal, it's that built into like the Twitch overlay, but not on stream.
Essentially, what a goal on Twitch is a goal. It is a goal.
Yeah.
It's a goal.
This is what it looks like in the back end for streamers. I don't know what it so it pops up at the top of the chat, I guess, when you refresh. And then also it has API, so Barry is happy. It launched with API. So there you go. Yeah, I think this will help. It'll eliminate the idea of like, oh, I need to go to Streamlabs and set up a goal. Now Twitch just has that on the dashboard, so that's great. I think that's good.
More integrated stuff, the better.
Yep, exactly. There is a limit character-wise to what you can make your goal. If I'm looking at it right now, it seems to be about maybe 40 characters, 50 characters, just eyeballing it. So it's kind of short, but yeah, you can't put a long thing there, essentially, which is fine. You don't want to, I assume they did that because it goes over on the chat bar, so they don't want to like push the rest of the chat down, essentially. But yeah, goals are live. Cool.
Where do you see them in your like?
It's like under a
I'm
quick
looking at like
action.
a panel.
No, it should be in the quick action. You should be able to like manage goals or add goal or something. Should be at the top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cool. That is that. And that's our show. Let's do some shout outs and call it one. Zeke, you want some time to read that over? Or you want to do some shout outs?
No, I'll do a shout out. I'll do some shout outs, I suppose. I guess I can do that. My name is Zeke or Ezekiel the Third or Ezekiel_III on Twitter and YouTube, and Ezekiel the Third, all spelled out, on Instagram and TikTok. Follow me on all those things. You can just hit up my link tree, link.ee/Ezekiel_. Thank you for watching. I will be streaming not after this show today because I've been enjoying my Wednesday afternoons off, and I'm going to be playing Pathfinder and figuring shit out, I suppose. But tomorrow, I was going to say we're back to Shadowrun, but we are not back to Shadowrun. I'm doing something special tomorrow that I am not sure if I can talk about yet because people don't correspond with me very well.
Whoa.
But it's going to be fun.
Okay.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun game and a fun time with some fun activities. But then on Friday, we'll be back to Shadowrun. All this, 10 a.m. Pacific, every day. Thank you. I love you. That's all.
There you go. Cohh, some shout outs.
Hey, everybody. My name is Cohh. Hi. Last time I'm going to see you for a month plus. So I hope you guys have a great time without me. I may be in the audience watching with you guys. So it'll be fun. Anyway, my name is Cohh. Hi. I'm going to be playing some Pathfinder right after this and again tonight. So hope to see you for that. On that note, there's going to be lots of Pathfinder coming up. We've got Encased after that. We're going to be checking out Tales of Arise in a couple days. We got Deathloop soon. We got a lot of games coming up. Hope to see you in the channel, twitch.tv/CohhCarnage. All that fun stuff. See you guys then.
Cool stuff. Cohh, good luck with everything. Hope everything
Thank you.
Goes easy, goes swiftly, goes well. And you and the missus are back at home enjoying life with 3 kids. That's gonna be, we'll see how that goes. We've got other folks joining in the next couple of weeks to fill Cohh's chair. Might just be one guest, might be 2. We don't have, got like a couple people pinned down, but we're not going to announce anything just yet. But there will be people in his spot. So feel free to come back next week and every other week, Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Coming up for me on the channel, I finally have a game that I'm interested in playing, Tales of Arise. We're going to be jumping in right after this. Shout out to Bando Namkai. That's not the name. Or wait, no, that actually is the name. That is.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah, for early access for that. Whiskey Sweet is back after like a 9-month break because they finally finished our kitchen. So that's exciting. We'll be starting on Saturday with that. Thank you. Yeah, I'm very excited to not just have things not finished every time I walk into the kitchen. It's always a nice thing. We'll be starting at 2 p.m. Eastern on Saturday for that. And then just more of the same. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you both.
They got back to me.
Oh, they did. You can talk about it.
Yep. Tomorrow I'm I'm showing off Unmetal. It's a game that I played a demo of.
Hey, cool.
Yep,
Nice.
by the creators of Unepic and stuff. It's published by Versus Evil. We're gonna have some cool guests on the stream tomorrow, and we'll be checking out. There's a downloadable demo right now that you can play, which I played, but I'm going to
You're
get
gonna
to
be
play
playing the full
more. I don't think full. I don't think I'm allowed to play the whole thing, but I definitely get to show off more of it. And
dude, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun like parody, like take satire of the old 8-bit Metal Gear games, and it's funny as fuck, and I'm excited to show it off tomorrow. So
Awesome.
that's what I'll be doing tomorrow.
Cool.
What time are you doing that?
10 a.m. Pacific.
Beautiful. That's it. Thanks for watching Drop Frames. We'll be back next week. At least two of us will. Cohh won't. He'll be back in a month or so with more Drop Frames. So watch us then. Also, I'll be streaming or restreaming the PlayStation event tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. BST, something like that. That's all up on their blog site. I'll be live tomorrow, though. So, yeah, BST, bullshit time zone, also known as British. Yeah. That's the official name. Funny enough.
Yeah.
I just called it Barry's time zone.
Or also checks out. Now we've got a new name for it. We've got a new name. We've got 3 names for BST. All real, all effective. We're out. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week. Bye-bye.